Hello again everyone, this is Vincent and this is episode 8 of the Manufactoria walkthrough on Kongregate. The next level I'll be doing is Judiciary. Alright, in this level we are given an even length string and we need to accept it if it repeats midway through. So an example would be blue, red, red, blue, blue, red, red, blue, because there's two slots of blue, red, red, blue and it repeats after this point which my mouse is pointing to. That's an example of an accept case. Alright, so if you remember, this part of my machine which I'm highlighting right now is identical to this part of the police level. So what that part did is it's basically going to put a yellow in the middle of a even length string, or more precisely, it makes the yellows move step by step away from the green until they meet in the middle, and the net output coming out of here is a yellow followed by the second half of the original string, followed by a green, followed by the first half of the original string. So first of all, once that's going to come out of there, you can look at the previous episodes to see how the police level worked, how this part worked. But basically, I only need to explain this part because this is the only new part. So first of all, the yellow is going to send it down this grey area, and I'm going to rip the yellow off. So now you have the second half of the original string followed by green, followed by first half of the original string followed by yellow. Now because the accept case is that those two strings need to be identical, that means it's repeated halfway through. It doesn't really matter what order they come in, so they don't have to be second or first half of strings anymore. So I just call them the first. I don't need to differentiate between the first and the second. So when it comes down here, I'm going to check the color of the half string. So if the half string starts with blue, goes that way. If it starts with red, goes that way. Then I copy the rest of the half string until I reach my green originally. So first I see a green, and then when I see a green, it's going to go down the grey arrows. Then it goes on this green-yellow branch conveyor. And if it's a green, I'm going to send it down to this conveyor belt, and then I'm going to send it back up. And because you've got the other half string coming after it, it's going to follow the grey arrow, which has reds and blues. Then I'm going to write a yellow. So now you've got a first half string followed by yellow, followed by second half string minus the first dot, followed by another yellow. Then I check the color of the second half string, which I haven't taken the dot off yet. And I need to check if it matches. So if the first half string started with the red, the second half string also needs to start with the red in order to be identical. If it starts with a blue, or that is, it doesn't match the colors, then those half strings aren't identical, so I just send them to the floor. So now what I've done is I've removed the first dot from both the first and second half strings. So now I think what was the second half string is now the first half string, is going to come back down here. So I've checked the first color of one of the half strings again, and then I go through the loop again to see what color the other half string starts with. So the first part you can just watch. It's the same as the police video. It's just tedious watching the yellows move away from the green until they meet in the middle. And the reason why I replace the green with a yellow is because it speeds up the process, because now I can check. It doesn't matter whether I put the first string or first half string or second half string in here, because it's always checking the beginning color comparing the beginning color of the first half string which we put in to the second half string, the beginning color of the second half string which is coming out. And then the order gets reversed, but it doesn't matter because they should be identical. So eventually we're going to see the yellow, green, yellow. And copy that half string, place the yellow for the second half string, place it, and when it's done, if it's an accept string and we haven't rejected it yet, there should just be a yellow, yellow, which just goes down the grey arrow to the exit. So the next level I'll be doing is politicians. Alright, in this level, we need to accept the string if there are exactly twice as many blue dots in the string as there are red in any order. Now, if you think back even further, this part of my solution is identical to this part of the RoboChildren level. So what that did was it basically checked if there was an equal number of blue or red in any order. So the only new part is this bit up here. So what this does is, first I put a green at the end of the string. If I see a red, I'm going to replace it with a red. If I see a blue, I want to look for another blue, because if there are an odd number of blues, then there cannot be exactly twice as many blues as reds, because there's no integer number of reds, which is half an odd number. But those twos don't necessarily have to come together. So if I see a blue, I'm going to copy any reds I see in the meantime, until I see my second blue, at which point I replace those two blues with a single blue. And I keep doing that until I see my green. Or if I run out, or if I have an odd number of blues, in which case it gets rejected here. So once I reach my green, I'm going to put another green, and then it hits here where I rip it off. So the net result of this part was it converts two blues into one blue, and it copies one red for one red. So if it is an accept string, what happens is what's coming out of here should be a string with exactly as many blues as reds, which is exactly the same problem as the RoboChildren level. And you can go back to that episode to see how that worked. And for some reason, the testing machine only shows you when there are an odd number of blues, it just rejects it here each time. Alright. The next level is academics. And I don't get to recycle any level parts here, so I had to build a completely new machine here. So in this level we have to give an output, which is the input string, which has been reversed. Alright, so what I do is, first of all, I put a yellow green at the end. Then I see this, then we go to this loop, which we all know and love, which is copying the entire string except for the last symbol, where it sees either red or blue followed by yellow. Then I copy the yellow to the end. On the first try, we'll just see a green right after, so it just follows the grey arrow to here, where we rip off the green, or there. Now before we put the green back, we are going to write the color of the last dot which we saw before the yellow. So the net result is, after the yellow, I'm going to be putting the last dot of the original string before the green. So then I go back here, and then I go through the whole cycle again. I now look at the end of the new string, or the original string minus the last dot. So I'm looking at the second last dot now, and then which has a yellow right after it, because we removed the last dot. So we copy the yellow back, and now because we've put something before the green already, we need to copy whatever came before the green until we see the green. Then we put just before the green the last color of the new original string, if that makes sense, or the new first string. So we put, if the second last one was red, we'd put, and the last one was blue, we would copy that blue first, but then we put the red before we put the green, because that red is the second last one, which now becomes the second one. So we're building up our new string, which is the reverse of the input string, from front to back, by using this green as a placeholder. And we're removing dots from the end of the original string, moving backwards. And then after that, what we should get is yellow followed by our output string, which is the reverse input string, followed by green. So we just rip off the yellow, copy the entire new string until we see the green, where we ripped off the green. So now we just wait for the blue-yellow, which is then put before the green. And now we have to check for that another blue-yellow, which we put before the green, but after that other blue that we had. And we keep doing that, and so on and so forth. we keep going until this is the last one. We have a yellow at the beginning and we take off the green at the end. Alright, so I think I'm out of time now, so I will see you in the next episode, starting with generals.